All right, everybody. I am here with Emily Lee of By Emily Jane. Emily, thanks for being here.
Hey Nina, thank you so much for having me on.
Where are you located, Emily?
I am in Dallas, Texas, born and raised.
Oh, fantastic. So, what's the weather like there today? We're recording this
Oh my
December
gosh.
6th.
Well, since I haven't been outside, I literally couldn't tell you because it changes like with every 2 hours. It's like it goes from like 30 to 75 every day right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, even where I am in New York, we've been having fall days, we've been having near summer days, and we've been having winter days all
I
in November
know.
and December. It's crazy.
That's insane.
But it does make all of the winter brides super happy because they end up with some nice weather. So,
Don't have to freeze their butts off.
yeah. So, can you tell everybody about your brand by Emily Jane?
Yeah, so let's see. I am a Squarespace website designer for wedding pros and photographers. And it started as a photography company, actually. And so I'm about to hit my 5-year anniversary with the By Emily Jane brand, which is really cool. Um,
Congrats.
Next year, thanks. Yeah, and then so I was doing photography for a long time, and then ended up transitioning into web design when I started having more like health issues and stuff that wouldn't allow me to keep doing photography so much. And so yeah, so now those are kind of the type of people that I love working with because it kind of fuels all of those different uh creative parts of me, I guess. So people like photographers, planners, florists, those kinds of people. I mean, that's really what lights me up, being able to create beautiful websites for them that reflect their personality as well as like speak to the exact person that they love working with. So yeah, that's what we do.
That's great. And it really is just looking from your own website. So true. Because I was saying to Emily before we started recording, I was like, when I look at your website, it looks like a planner layout. And I mean those like fancy planners where people buy tons of stickers and make them look like these super decorative layouts. That's how her website read to me.
Yeah, thanks so much. I guess kind of like cute eclectic vibes or something like that.
Right, which I think reflects your personality. So if that isn't your personality, it doesn't mean your website would look like that. It just means that Emily would
Exactly.
tap into what that is. And when Emily and I chatted about a few weeks ago, it was actually, she was the one who brought up the topic of how important having your website be mobile compatible is and how to optimize your website for mobile users and all of that. And that's not something I'm an expert in or speak about. I more so understand the user experience of it because I see what happens when it doesn't look good on mobile, but I can't speak on what you should do about it. So, Emily, let's just kick it off with what is the difference between, your website and a website that is optimized for a mobile experience?
Okay. Well, so the old way of designing websites was that and I mean, you still do this today, but you
Mhm.
typically will design it on your normal computer screen, like your desktop or your laptop. And then what would happen in the olden days, like when we were all starting to get iPhones and we were like, yay, I can get on the and I can browse the internet on my phone now. But it would really just take the computer version of the website and shrink it down. So if you remember, we were all having to pinch and zoom with our
Yeah.
fingers all the time to be able to read anything, or especially clicking on links was kind of difficult. And some websites still look like that. They're still kind of in the what is it, the Stone Ages,
Hmm.
and it's super noticeable now because most websites have moved on with the times, where there's a completely separate version of the website that loads in when the browser can tell someone's using a phone or a small screen size. So it kind of just auto defaults over to that other version. And this is something like if you're using like the traditional form of, building a WordPress website, this is something that the developer would create as a completely separate website. Um, but most website platforms, I would say nowadays, like your Wix, Squarespace, Showit, those kinds of things, they have the mobile version there. Like as you're creating your design, it kind of creates a mobile version for you of what it thinks would work well, and then you can kind of go in and adjust it from there. And so that's kind of the difference, is just making sure that basically there's two versions of the website.
And I've experienced that where before I was able to have someone professional go in and do my website, I did it myself and I did it first. I did it through Wix with the computer preview and then moved it to mobile preview and then was like, oh, I have to
Oh,
realign everything. It
yeah.
doesn't just switch it all. Some of what
Hmm.
you've designed will not have the same effect or
Exactly.
look
Yeah.
totally different in that different size. So it's a blessing and a curse because the
Yeah.
curse is that
Even
time.
Yeah, even like if you're using one of the older versions of Squarespace, which a lot of my clients still do, so this could be you, you may have seen that it kind of automatically shifts everything for you and like stacks all the content on top of each other, so that it all fits on that screen. But even then, like you said, that's the perfect way to put it. Sometimes some of those things don't have the same impact
Mhm.
because the way it shifted things around, it's like maybe your images aren't coming across as well or something like that, which we can get into more, some of those things to look for.
Yeah, because I found, sometimes when you're putting stuff left to right, they're equal. And then when it's put one on top of the other, all they're seeing on their screen is whatever your first point was. And sometimes that being isolated isn't what you're looking for. So
Hmm.
I'm sure, like you said, we'll get more into that. But first, I just want to really broadly discuss, why is mobile important? Why is it worth that they have this extra time, whether it be the investment of time or money, to make their website mobile compatible and a good mobile experience?
Hmm. Yeah, you definitely don't want to ignore it, which I know is like the easier. It's like what we're like, well, it looks perfect on desktop, so
Yeah.
that's good enough for me. Like, let's move on to the next project. But nowadays, really over half of internet traffic at any given time is coming from people using their mobile devices. So, I mean, that's just a broad statistic, but like I had a wedding planner friend of mine who I told her about this, and she was like, well, let me go see like where my traffic is coming from. So she went into her analytics for her website, and she was shocked. It was like 75% of people were on mobile, and she was like, oh my gosh, because she had never paid attention to it before that. She had just been designing the desktop site the whole time. So you may be surprised if you go into your analytics and see how many of those people are coming on their phone, because especially if you're a wedding pro using social media, Instagram, etc., to market your business, a lot of those people are probably seeing your social profile and then clicking straight to your website when they're still on their phone. So I mean, of course, that the website is pretty much the main hub of your business. It's what people really associate and think of, like how they identify you. It's where they decide if you're worth the investment.
Mhm.
So, really, anytime they interact with your website, you want it to be high quality. You want to look credible and trustworthy, and of course, expensive. That's what we all want. Um, so, you never want them to go to your website on their phone and then think, this is confusing, or this doesn't look great. So maybe I'll come back and look at it on the computer later. Because then chances are, let's be honest, they probably are going to forget about it. They're
Yes.
probably not coming back.
Mhm.
So it's always important to get that attention from your audience, but also retain it while you have it, because it can be difficult to get it back later.
Yeah, because people will give up. I mean, sometimes you'll get a message where somebody alerts you that, the website isn't loading on mobile or this isn't working, but most of the people aren't going to. And to what you said about the planner you were working with, and that 75% of her traffic was mobile, that means
Hmm.
if your mobile isn't optimized, you could be missing out on 75% of your leads, and you're spending
Hmm.
all this time on your Instagram, maybe your email marketing, your social media, your branding, only to lose them at the final stretch. Because once you get them to the website, that's where you want them to go. All of these tools, Instagram, Facebook, are designed to get people to your website. So
Exactly.
you really have to put a lot of focus on that website, and that means that every element of it, which does
Yeah.
include the mobile experience.
Hmm. Yeah, because you mentioned the user experience, which is such a huge part of that. Like, it's not just about how it looks; it's about how easy is it to use, and It's just are you giving people a high quality experience? And that's going to set them up for the high quality experience they're going to get when they actually work with you.
Yeah, because I've had some mobile websites where I can't even like find the menu. You know what I mean?
Right,
Or
right.
sometimes because of how it automatically converted it, it wasn't something that was very user friendly once you're on there. And I can't find those like 3 lines or what do they call that? Like the
The
hamburger.
hamburger. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, sometimes it just disappears and you're like, "What?" I swear
Yeah.
when I looked at this on my computer, there was a menu here. I don't know
hmm
where it went.
Right. So seeing how does that horizontal menu on the desktop convert, to
Hmm.
your mobile? So now I've scared people with that. So to those that I've scared, how can they know that if their website is not mobile compatible?
Okay. Well, this is going to seem super like duh, but the thing is that most people don't take the time to do this. And the easiest thing
Yeah.
you can do is literally just any time that or if you've never done it before, do this to start out with. Just look at your website on your phone. Like just pull out your phone, look through every single section, every single page, click on everything, and then go through it again and pretend that you are a client, a potential client of yours, and see what that experience is like. But then also repeat this anytime you make updates to your website when you're on the computer, just pull out your phone, check it again. So some of the things that you can look for is like, is all of the text really legible? So it's not too small or too light colored, or the font isn't too hard to read. So a good rule of thumb is you want your font to be 16 pixels or bigger. So that typically is like the safe number for both desktop and mobile. You can check that all of the links are working, check all of your images and see, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you have this like banner image and it got shifted.
hmm
So now the focus of the image isn't even in view anymore on a smaller screen. So you may want to shift that around. If you have any images with text on top of them, that can especially get messed up on a smaller screen. Sometimes maybe the words are now on top of a part of the photo that's really detailed, or it's covering someone's face. So it's really hard to read those words. That's going to kill the user experience and all of that design that you worked hard on. Another common thing I see is sometimes there's a pop-up that covers the whole screen on your phone, and there's like no way to exit out of it because
Yes,
maybe
yes, the dreaded missing X. Yes.
yes, because it's like it's just far enough outside of the edge of the screen that there's no way to click out of it. And I cannot, it's just the worst when you're like interested in a business and you're looking at their website and then you can't use the website anymore
Yeah,
because
I'm
in the
like, I'll
first
try
five
hard.
seconds I know, and there's a pop-up that comes up right in the beginning and then you're like, well, I guess I'm done.
Mhm.
And the thing is too that Google can pick up on a lot of these things. So what you can also do is go literally just type into Google mobile friendly test, and it'll pop up right at the top of the search results. It'll have a little search bar there, and you type in your web address, you hit enter, and it gives you a score. I think it's like a score out of 100 or something. And it tells you like, this is how mobile friendly we think your website is, like as far as our bots can tell. And so they can kind of tell if there are elements that are too close together, or if the words are too small, or if some of the pages are broken or sliding around. So it'll give you a list of things that you can look for and fix, which is super cool.
That is neat. I never heard of it, so I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to plug mine in. One other tip I recommend when it comes to checking your site for how mobile friendly it is, and this just happens all the time because as the social media manager, I'm on all my clients' pages more than anybody else. So
Mhm.
if you don't have a social media manager, having somebody else look at it too, because sometimes you know what it's supposed to look like and your eyes don't catch it the same way. But
Yep.
if you have someone
Or
else look at it,
yeah, or sometimes different devices load the website in different ways.
yeah,
So it can be really good if you have someone in your household or a friend who has a different phone than yours, just to triple check that too. And so like those are more of like the tech technical like fixes. But like I mentioned earlier, you also want to think about just the user experience. So not only does it look good, but is it easy to use? Can people find all the information that they're looking for really easily, like especially your contact information?
Yes.
So can they easily see who you are, what you do, the different ways to work with you and how to get started. Always tell them how to get started. This doesn't necessarily have to do with mobile specific, but this is just a general website tip that I see missing a lot is tell people how to work with you, like not just the services, but the
Hmm.
process of how to get started. Because don't make them assume like they should fill out your contact form. Just go ahead and tell them, fill out my contact form to get started.
Hmm.
So no matter what device they're on, is it really easy for them to figure that stuff out no matter what page they're on? So like maybe they're on the about page. You should still tell them, okay, if you're ready, here's how to get started. And here's how to quickly and easily get to my contact page.
Terrific. And then to bring it back to mobile, you just want to make sure those elements don't get hidden or lost or lose their focus, because those are going to be prominent when you design your website. So you want to make sure that they don't get lost in the mobile shuffle.
Yeah, in the mobile shuffle. I love that.
So let's say we're still trying to convince someone to really look into this. What can they expect? What differences can they see once they go ahead and invest, whether it's time, money, etc., and making their mobile website functional?
Hmm. Well, there's kind of two things. So there's like, hopefully, over time, what should happen is that your Google ranking improves because
Mm.
anytime you're doing anything that Google likes, that's just going to help get your website higher and higher in the search results. So if you're making your website really easy to use and Google can tell that people are not only coming to your website, but they're staying there for a while and they're not immediately like exiting out because it's broken or something, they can see that and that's gonna give you your Google points.
Yeah.
And so that'll help your SEO. But the other thing that should happen is that if it's something that's been neglected up until now, you should see an increase in leads. This is of course assuming that all of the other elements of your website are really optimized for conversion. But if that's like the one missing piece that you weren't paying attention to is like the mobile website, then you could start seeing some more inquiries come in because now you're what we talked about earlier, you're having all this traffic on the mobile website and they can actually use the website. You look professional, you look credible, and it's really easy for people to understand how they can work with you and why they should work with you.
That's terrific. And you brought up another good point that we really didn't get into because it's not the technical side. But, if I'm on someone's site and I can't get to the menu bar or there's a broken link or it's outdated, that does turn me off. And sometimes it's as simple as, and this is what I catch with my clients all the time, I'll be on a random page that most of them forgot to check or go on. And I'll be like, oh, the bridal showcase is still showing up there. And even though I'm just seeing it because I'm looking for content, so I'm on every page all the time, you don't want that to end up being a customer. So,
Right.
really looking into all of those things and having your website at its best. So this way you don't end up inadvertently turning anybody away.
I mean, let's face it, we all come up with our first impressions based on what the thing looks like
Mhm.
that immediate split second. That's going to give you so much information, even just subconsciously, even whether it's true or not. We're just going to make so many assumptions about how long this business has been around, how seriously they take their business, all of like how valuable it is compared to the cost. All of those kinds of things are really just that first impression of, does this website look great or not?
Yeah. And
So it is
for,
super important.
because for wedding professionals, they're kind of like two different scenarios I want to go over just quickly here. And one is that even though COVID was 2 years ago, the effects of it were long term. And, venues, even in my own area, are closing now as a result. And so when I see things that are outdated, I begin to wonder if they're still actively in business.
Yeah.
The other side of it is a lot of times because wedding professionals see this happen. People just decide they want to become a wedding professional, and they just throw up a site, and then that's it. You want to kind of set yourself apart from that. You don't want anyone to assume that this is just a hobby. It's fine if it is, but a professional website will set you apart, and you don't want anybody to think you're closed or out of business or not active anymore.
Yeah. And I also want to add, just because sometimes I can go off on my like designer brain and get like start talking in really dreamy concepts. But just to kind of bring it back down to like a more manageable level, when I say like your website has to look really good or really polished, that just means like clean, polished,
Mm.
and kind of like up to date and modern. So really just that makes a huge difference. Like it doesn't have to be the most custom thing in the world for you to be able to get these same effects of like someone thinking that you're still currently in business, like you do take
Mhm.
it seriously, that kind of stuff. So this is something that can be achieved also from just like a very clean and simple website, as long as it's really well done and well organized and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, we both believe and we're in the power of empowering others. This is something you can do on your own. But little things like being on top of changing 2022 to 2023 and 2024, when you're saying now booking,
Mhm.
because if you leave just that one number, if you don't change the 2 to a 3, I'm going to wonder if you're not doing 2023 weddings.
So true.
And so it's just the little things like that. And, we do often say, especially if you're new, that, and Emily alluded to it, that you can achieve this on your own by doing a clean look and just having it look polished. It doesn't mean that it's this 5-figure investment. But let's say somebody is ready to hire somebody. What can they ask, or what do they need to ask their designer to ensure that the mobile end is going to be taken care of?
Yeah, so I do think this is something really, really smart to think about and ask. You can think, you can ask, sorry, is the mobile version of the website included in this package, like this package that I'm purchasing? Or you could say, what is the process for optimizing the website for mobile? So it really doesn't matter what the designer's process is, as long as they have one,
Mhm.
because it's going to vary from platform to platform, like whatever website builder they're using, or from person to person, from business to business. They may have a different process for this, and that's totally fine, as long as you're just trying to get at, is this going to be addressed, and is this going to be
Mhm.
tested before we go live with the website?
Yeah, it'd be like booking a wedding, then finding out the chairs aren't included. You want
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
know what everything that's included. That's really great. As we've been talking, have any other points come up that you want to address before we get into a little bit about you?
No, I mean, well, I guess I'll just say like
Hmm.
the most important thing, whether you're talking about, like, I know people get hung up on SEO a lot, which is more of a marketing tactic. But the main thing, even if you're whether you're wanting to improve the mobile version of your site or your SEO or something else, it just all comes back to the user experience. Like, how would I feel if I was a client trying to navigate this website? So the easier that you can make it to use and for people to get all the information that they need, that's going to impact everything else in a positive way.
Terrific, terrific. Now, before I ask you our rapid fire questions, where can our audience find you, and what do you have going on that they can work with you with?
Cool. Yeah, so my website is byemilyjane.com, and I am on Instagram and TikTok at byemilyjane as well. I've been getting really into like silly video content lately,
Oh,
so
great.
yeah, so if you like that kind of stuff, definitely connect with me at one of those places. And actually, right now, I am doing a collaboration. And I know you had Emily Foster on your podcast recently, too, and she talked about this as well. We are teaming up with Andrea Shaw, who's a copywriter, um, to offer a sort of like a bundle of our services that normally just isn't available at this lower price. So basically, it's a 2-week intensive where we give you a new brand, new copywriting for your website, the website design itself, along with SEO as a bonus. So we're doing this all for you in 2 weeks. Usually what happens is you kind of have to pick and choose one or maybe a couple of those services, and they go super duper in depth on just that service. But we are trying to get people, fully equipped for this engagement season that we're in right now. And so we thought, how can we kind of boil it down to the essentials in each of those categories so that you can make sure you have all of those pillars locked in on a brand new website. And so that's kind of the package that we put together that we're really excited about right now. It's called the Total 2 Week Squarespace Experience.
That's great. And if they go to your Instagram, I've seen you posting about it. What
Yeah.
is the minimum price commitment someone can expect for something like this?
So through the end of this year, it's $5,400. And then we're offering lots of payment plans as well for that.
That is fantastic because, guys, when you're looking into getting a website done, plus the branding and design, plus the copywriting and SEO, did I leave out anything?
Nope,
Because
that's all of it.
when you
Yeah.
add that all together, you're not going to get that for this price. And I think it's just such a great way to invest in yourself and your business and the time frame. To have a website in 2 weeks with all that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So that's really great for people who have probably been in business anywhere from like 2 to 5 years. You
Mhm.
have a pretty good idea of, the audience that you want to work with, and, what makes you kind of different as a brand, and kind of what you want to be known for. So if you're kind of in that place, then that's probably a good solution for you. And then if you're more in like a DIY place right now, I do have a really awesome freebie. It's my most popular freebie that I have on my site, and it's 5 quick SEO fixes for your website. So if you're really in like the optimization stage right now and you're like, I just want to get in there and knock some things out myself to up my website game, that would be a great one for you. And that's at byemillijane.com/SEO fix, which I
I'm
can give you the link as well.
Yeah, I'm on your website now looking at all your freebies. This is fantastic. She's got
Thanks.
100 wedding content ideas for bloggings, website layouts for wedding pros. I mean, there's build to launch checklists. So even if you're going to DIY it, don't DIY it without checking this out because it will give you a checklist to refer to and make sure that you've done the best you can on your own with these
Yeah.
expert resources. That's fantastic.
Thanks. Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, I gotta start to get some freebies. So now I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions, just some things I like knowing about other business owners. So,
Awesome.
a brand or business with branding that you love is.
I'm going to say YNAB, which if you haven't heard of it, it stands for You Need a Budget. And
Oh,
I know it's kind of random, but like I'm obsessed with them, and I use them in my daily life and my business finances for all of my like budgeting needs. And I just like they have the best company ever. So this is more about like the brand that they've created with like the personality of their brand. I love it. They have all these like quippy little sayings that they do like during loading screens that always make me laugh. I never get tired of them. They're just such a friendly and down to earth brand. So
yeah.
that's like goals for me personally.
Yeah, I'm looking at their website because you had me intrigued. And like, because budgeting and money is so intimidating, and this website is not. They
Yeah.
immediately, give you some just, I don't know, some more friendly graphics. Like it's cartoony, it's fun, it's not
Yeah, it's bright
scary.
colors, and their YouTube channel is also incredible. Like it's so I feel like I'm watching my friends make videos about money.
That's great. And I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but once you get going on branding, it's hard to reel us in. But what I love about this is that sometimes when I go outside of my own industry, when I'm not looking at a social media business or a wedding business, I can get ideas for wedding businesses or social media. And here you can see how they used being relatable, casual, fun, welcoming to tap into their audience. So that's just something to keep in mind, with your own brands.
Totally.
Okay, the best kinds of weddings have.
I'm gonna say short ceremonies because that's what I had. I don't like long ceremonies as a guest. I don't enjoy
Mhm.
them. Like I
Yeah.
want a short ceremony and a long reception.
Yes, I don't disagree with you there. I love working with wedding pros who,
Who don't take themselves too seriously. And so that's like one part of it. Because I just like having fun with people, but
Mhm.
also people who are ready to be a little brave and bold with their website, with their marketing. They're tired of just kind of looking the part of like the typical wedding brand. And because what I think is that that just makes you blend in. And so, but it also takes time to get your mindset to that place where you're like, okay, I'm ready to like step out of that. So
Mhm.
that's the kind of person I get really excited about working with.
Yeah. And you seem to have a gift for just really tapping into someone's true self and representing it in their website. So
Oh,
that's kind of
thank
fun
you.
to see.
Yeah, that's definitely my goal.
When I want to be in flow while working, I listen to.
Usually silence, or white noise or something like that because I think I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. So I just can't do it. But if I'm doing something that's like mind numbing and does not take a lot of brain power, then I like to just turn on fun music like Stevie Wonder or Ariana Grande. Those are some of my faves.
Nice, definitely fun. This question I just thought of on the fly. If you were an action figure, what would be your accessory?
Accessory. Wait, action figures have accessories?
Yeah, well, or even the Barbie, either one, they may have their little like if it's an action figure, they may have like a gun or a weapon, but a Barbie could have anything.
Okay, can my accessory be a dollhouse because I love those.
Now is it a dollhouse or is it a house for you as a doll to live in?
It's a house for me as a doll to live in,
Okay.
and I'm calling it my accessory because I guess I'm just gonna be bougie like that.
I love it. I love it. And lastly, I couldn't have done my business without.
Without the financial support of my family, because for a long time when you're just getting off the ground, it's really hard to like make a living for yourself, and I could not have done it without their support. The other thing is with HelloFresh because
Yeah.
I got I got when I started getting busier, it was just really hard to feed myself consistently. So HelloFresh helped a lot.
Fantastic. Those are great answers. And this was a great time. It was a lot of fun. So don't forget to check out by Emily Jane, everybody. Emily, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. This was super fun.
Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. It is the most wonderful time of the year. I have been listening to Christmas music all day. I have been opening Christmas gifts from friends. Some friends, we do these swaps and exchanges with each other, and then we record it and send it to each other on YouTube. So I've been doing some of those. So I'm very high on Christmas spirit right now. Okay. And it's December 13th when I'm filming this intro. And last week I chatted with a website expert for wedding professionals. Her name is Emily Lee from the company by Emily Jane, and she has a lot of information when I sat down with her. So that is something to look forward to coming up in just a little bit. First, I want to share, did you know that Sheryl Crow has redone Blue Christmas twice? Both versions very different. That's what I learned this year through my holiday music listening. Also, this is a really busy time of year for those of us in the wedding industry, even if you don't do corporate business. So maybe have slowed down a bit with your actual events. It's very possible that now is the time where you're getting heavy on focusing on your branding, your website, your social media. So that is why it's such a busy time of year for me as well. So if you have been looking to do an Instagram audit or a strategy call, get on the books for that now. And also for full service social media, I really only have one slot left. So time is of the essence. I want to tell you a little bit about our podcast guest today. So her name is Emily Lee from By Emily Jane, and she does web design and is a Squarespace expert, and it's specifically for wedding professionals. And she has a lot to offer you guys in terms of custom website design, website SEO, consulting calls, or just design packages. So, depending on what stage you're at in your business, Emily will have something for you. She started out as a photographer, specifically a wedding photographer. So she knows your pain points and what your website needs in order to deliver. And what she's talking about today with us is making sure that your website is optimized for mobile, tablets, cell phones, etc. And it's so much more than just seeing how it looks like when you're previewing your website. There's a lot that goes into it. That's a part of it, but there is so much more, and she has a lot of great information for you in this episode. She had so much information that we're going to be doing this again. So we're going to be having another interview episode we do together around Valentine's Day. So that's going to be exciting. Before we get into the episode, I do want to remind you of the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast sponsor, and it is the Weddingpreneurs Content Club by Carissa Cruzy Weddings. At the Weddingpreneurs Content Club, you can receive social media directives, templates, and tips directly to your inbox each month. So, what that means is that Carissa is going to send you posting prompts with the captions that you can just copy and paste, templates that you upload to Canva and swap in your logo instead, and directives. So, let's say you're shy about doing reels, she will tell you what to post for a reel. So, you can get this annually. So, get the 12 months for a one-time price of $447, or pay once a month at $47. And she has some payment options in between that you can do too. So if you want to check that out, go to idoweddingmarketing.com/sponsors, and you will see the Weddingpreneurs Content Club as well as Carissa's other offerings on there.